Sir, done.
Okay. Holi, a festival of color and joy, a tradition of our religion and culture. However, with the onset of development, there is an influx of large number of chemicals into it, resulting in a wide range of effect on both humans and environment. So good afternoon, everyone. Today, I, on behalf of IQAC SPM unit, welcome you all for the webinar on effect of colors of Holi on humans and environment. Today, we are very fortunate to have with us Dr. Disha Sharma, postdoctoral research associate, Princeton University, USA. She has done her MSc, MPhil, and PhD from School of Environmental Studies, Environmental Science, Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. She has a wide range of working experience as a researcher at Center for Policy Research 2018, INMAP Project, University of Washington 2018, Indian Institute of Technology, IIT Delhi, India 2019. A major area of work are atmospheric sciences, including air quality modeling, mineral dust, aerosol, and atmospheric chemistry, aerosol, climate feedback, dust, monsoon linkage, etc. She has contributed a lot in terms of her publications and popular articles. She is also a recipient of several international and national fellowship and travel grant on various occasions, like David Miller Young Scientist Scholarship, Student Travel Grant, American Geophysical Union 2016, UK NEREC Travel Grant DST India. Today we are very fortunate to have with us. I welcome you, ma'am, and it is very fortunate for us to have with you, and I also welcome my teachers and my dear students. So I now request our speaker for the day, Dr. Disha Sharma ma'am, to please come and highlight us some of the various effect that Holi is creating on us. So I welcome you, ma'am. Now I request Disha ma'am to please address us.
Yeah, thank you
Disha,
so much for this very illustrious introduction, Dr. Bhatnagar. I'm very grateful for this chance that the Shama Prasad Mukherjee College for Women has given me. I would like to thank, in the beginning, Dr. Sadhna Sharma, Principal Madam. I would also like to thank IQAC committee members. And of course, I would like to thank you, Mr. Bhatnagar, for a wonderful introduction. I don't know if that all of it is really true for me or not, but yes, thank you again. And of all the people present today, I would like to thank of mine, Birwal, Dr. Shivesh Birwal. We go a long way. We were together during our PhD and have hence, maintained the ties. And it is only, it was his idea that, has brought me here and has given me a chance to interact with the students and everybody else who's present for this webinar, which happens to fall on a Sunday. And I'm very sorry that I'm sort of been these time Sunday. The topic is important. It's very important to know how to celebrate Holi in a very safe way, especially as we are sort of still, going through very difficult times where we have the dual challenge of amid the COVID-19 pandemic. So with that in the backdrop, I would like to begin my presentation today, in which I will be talking about what are the potential effects of harmful chemicals that are used in Holi, and how can we prevent ourselves from the toxic components that are present in Holi chemicals. I would now share my screen. Yeah. So yes, so today I'll be talking about effects of Holi on humans and environment. And Dr. Bhatnagar said, Festival of Holi. So Holi is a traditional Hindu festival and it is celebrated in the Falgun month, which is the 12th month of Hindu calendar. So Holi marks the end of winter season and the beginning of spring season according to the Hindu calendar. And unlike Diwali, it falls on the last full moon day of Falgun month. So there are various mythological tales that sort of explain why Holi is celebrated. One is, of course, the killing of Hiranyakashipu by Lord Vishnu in his Narsingh avatar, and the other, which signifies the winning of good over evil. And of course, there is another folklore related to the Krishna Radha times, wherein, Krishna played Holi with Radha because Radha was the fairer one, and he, put a lot of holy colors on her so that the two could have the same skin color. So, well, this is the spirit of Holi. Holi marks the beginning of a change of season. It marks the festival of colors. It marks the festival of a new season. So this is what traditionally Holi was about. But over the years, the way we celebrate Holi has changed. And why has it changed? It has changed because the celebration has gotten a lot commercialized. We have moved away from the traditional Vedic celebration towards a more commercial celebration, which is just immersed with use of synthetic harmful chemicals, which of course gives rise to plethora of environmental and health impacts, like health issues. We all know the harmful chemicals in Holi can cause issues. Then there is the water with all the natural ingredients, flowers. With these, we also use pastes and colors that are mixed with water. So of course, Holi day green. Of course, there's the problem of air pollution, which is something that is not really often talked about in great length. But Holi celebration, the way we throw colors in the air, can also cause air pollution spikes. And of course, there is animal abuse. Human beings go for community celebrations, and more often than not, people also put colors on animals. So it is very harsh. The chemicals that are used in Holi are very harsh on animals as well. And there is also evidence that Holi is the colors used in Holi are very harmful to plant health as well. So my presentation today will cover all of these topics, and I will present evidence on what we know about these different domains of contamination and pollution that come about because of Holi celebration, the way we celebrate Holi in the present times. Yeah. So as I was saying, that nowadays we do not celebrate Holi in its true essence. We've moved away from the Vedic traditional celebration, which was all about using naturally occurring material, to sort of signify this change of season and to bring about colors in the celebration. So economic interests have paved way for synthetic colors, which is a very, very bad development. So traditionally, Holi was played with natural material. As I said, there were flowers used for celebration. There were plant dyes. There were organic natural material like kumkum, haldi, plant-derived products, colors made from neem, etc., which were used. But these days, we hardly know of anybody who really uses these traditional materials for celebrating Holi. So it is all commercially produced synthetic dyes that are used. These are industrially produced chemicals and in this industry. So these synthetic dyes or colors, why have we moved towards, of course, so it is economically viable to produce colors synthetically in the industries because these industries are not at all regulated. And the production of colors on a bigger scale is very cheap. We would require a lot of natural plant material to make, say, a certain quantity of natural color, whereas very little of synthetic material would produce great amounts of synthetic colors. So of course, it is a more economically viable process to make synthetic dyes. The second reason, of course, is that their shelf life is better. Anything that is derived from natural materials does not live or is not is perishable, has a very short shelf life. But these synthetic dyes, these are synthetic colors, can, remain in the packaged form for a very long period of time. And of course, the third factor, which I've not indicated here, is that we do not get the same vibrance in the colors that are made from natural material. So, the brighter color tones that you get in the Holi colors are only possible if they are produced in a synthetic manner in the industries. Another thing why we've moved gradually to using these synthetic products, synthetic colors, is because this industry is absolutely unregulated. There are no restrictions on producing colors in industries. There is no guidelines. There is nothing. So, anybody can open a small factory and start producing colors. And it is quite surprising that this particular aspect of synthetic colors, which are so hazardous for both environment and human health, has gone unnoticed over the years. And as I was mentioning before, with these synthetic dyes are produced in industries, and then industrial production can use anything from harmful petrochemicals to other industrial products that are completely banned for human use. And more often than not, these synthetic dyes are actually very complex, big polymers, and they are not even very easily biodegradable. So with this background, now we'll go into talking about what are the specific effects, harmful effects that these colors can cause to humans and to environment. So before going to that, it is very important to understand that it is high time uh, we uh, we realize the need for regulation in this industry of synthetic colors. So synthetic color industry in India so far has remained completely unregulated. The governments have not focused. Sorry, is somebody trying to ask a question? Was there a question asked, or am I going to take questions in the end?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
All right. So for anybody who has a question about anything that I'm presenting, they can ask me questions in the end, or they can type in their questions in the chat box, and one of the moderators will read them out, and they can then let me know. So as I was saying, that before we move on to discussing the specific harmful effects, it is very important to understand that this industry so far has not really been regulated. Policymakers have completely ignored the harmful effects of hazardous chemicals, and this is high time that we bring in some sort of a policy or some sort of a regulation in this particular sector. And one of the reasons why we have not really pushed for any regulation on this industry so far is because, Holi is just a one-day fair. So it probably goes unnoticed, and it is not really seen as a very serious problem because rest of the year these colors any which way are not used. But even with a single day use of these harmful chemicals, we see that the health effects could be immense and very far-reaching consequences on environment are also seen. So I think it is high time that we start thinking about regulating this industry, which is entirely unregulated in India as of today. And the chemicals that go into synthetic colors are definitely not safe for human use. It is an informal sector industry, so it is not just about the harmful effects of these colors on human and environment, but it also calls in for labor laws. And it is also seen that the colors that are sold, they're sold without any warning or without any information on the type of dye used or the potential harmful effects it can cause. And even for the natural or the herbally made colors that are available in the market, there is no guarantee or there is no seal or there is no information of the color being actually natural. So there is definitely an urgent need to put this manufacturing industry that produces Holi colors synthetically under the guidelines of Food and Drug Cosmetic Act and the Bureau of Standards. And it is only once we are aware of the harmful effects and we know that it is time that we call in for expert committees that push for this regulation, that we will be able to achieve it. Moving on. So the unholy colors of Holi, I've talked about why it is important to regulate the industry, but it is equally important to understand which color has which effect. So the types of synthetic colors used, as I said, could be anywhere from dry colors, which are used as gulal or for abir, or there is also evidence of some pastes, greasy pastes being used, and there are water soluble colors. And these could contain very, very harmful components like glass, mica, silica, etc. And these could be acidic or alkaline when they come in contact with the skin, depending on the chemicals used in their processing. And as I said, we could never know which color would behave in which way because there is no information available on their composition. And then there is some common knowledge on what is the major component in each of the colors that are used. For example, in the black color, lead oxide is the major chemical. And lead oxide is extremely harmful a chemical, and especially for pregnant women, as it can cause some irreparable damages to the placenta and to the unborn baby. So it is a teratogen. Green color always has the dominance of copper sulfate and malachite green. And of course, it also interferes in the fetal growth and is also responsible for causing some neurological damages. Silver color has the component aluminum bromide, and it is a proven carcinogen. Blue color comes from Prussian blue, which is known to cause some skin irritation and other skin allergies and diseases. Purple color can have chromium iodide or gentian violet, which is not good for lungs, for respiratory health, and can also cause some eye infections and eye diseases of the cornea. And mercury sulfide is the major component, major chemical in red color, and it can cause severe damages to the fetus and can also cause renal or kidney failure and skin irritation. So these are some of the major chemical components in the colors that we use during Holi and their potential health impacts. So, as I said, that sometimes we use dry colors, but more often than not, especially when there is community celebration, we put colors, we dissolve colors in the water, and we use pitchkaris or the sort of big water syringes and play colors mixed in water. So there is a plethora of evidence on how contaminating it could be for the water bodies, to the water bodies near where we do Holi celebrations and play with watercolors. And in all the cases and all the scientific studies, it was found that the WHO standards for water are violated in an event when water is used for Holi colors. So there is a study done in 2015 that reports specific values of key water parameters in a water body which was contaminated with all these synthetic colors. And it was seen that the pH value of water which had synthetic colors in it was more towards the acidic side. The total hardness value was also very high, total dissolved solids, turbidity, and even the heavy metal content was way beyond the permissible limits. So this proves that, even one day, even a few hours of Holi celebration could cause huge damage to water bodies. And there is a dearth of studies done in India per se, which look specifically into the water contamination levels, but whatever evidence we have is enough to show us that there is absolutely the need of sort of preserving and procuring our water bodies from these harmful chemicals, and especially if the water body is also the source of water, as is seen in some of the villages, wherein the villages are dependent on the village water body, and if that gets contaminated with holy colors, then it would take a very long time for the water to clean itself on its own. So, uh, very so when we talk of holy colors, we often sort of associate their effects on water, because holy colors, when dissolved in water, could very easily contaminate water. As water bodies, as I've shown in my previous slide, that there is evidence that the water parameters could be completely disturbed if synthetic holy colors get dissolved in them. But people often find it very difficult to associate holy with air pollution. But when you play with dry colors and when you sprinkle dry colors and when you throw them in the air, then they have the potential of sort of spreading as air pollutants. Resuspended colors in the air, when inhaled, can have the same effect as that of elevated levels of air pollution. And there are studies that have shown that holy colors contain somewhere from 40 to 75% of PM10 particles. Particulate matter of size 10 micrometer or smaller is generated when the holy colors are spread in the air. And it is also seen that the holy colors also contain molds and bioaerosols. So they have microbes. So there was a study done wherein, uh, some dry colors were spread in the air, and then whatever was suspended in the air was collected on petri dishes. And the cultures of bacteria and other microbes were sort of grown on those, which is something that I've shown in the picture on the right side. So this petri dish contains holy colors, which were mixed in the growing media. And over a course of a few days, it was seen that, this sample of air pollutants showed evidence of presence of molds and other bioaerosols. So it is not just, that the spraying of colors produces particulate matter species, which can be inhaled and then become harmful for our respiratory system, but they also have the ability to sort of uh, uh, ability to have presence of bioaerosols. So this is double whammy. So, when suspended and inhaled, they can harm our respiratory system. And also when inhaled, they can give us some diseases because of, the potential of being converted into bioaerosols. So as I said, that some respiratory disorders can be explained by heavy contamination of air with particulate matter species, with bioaerosols, and also with heavy metals. And this is a very famous study which was done by Bosman and group in 2016. Moving on, there is also a paper that has shown that how increase in air pollution during Holi time is very clearly correlated with the increase in the number of admissions to hospitals. And this shows that, even though Holi is a one-day event, it can have, it can result in, great increases in diseases that require hospitalization. So the first graph, the one above, shows that pre-Holi, the number of admissions because of respiratory disorders is almost half of what is seen during the day of Holi, and then the number again falls after Holi. So there's a huge spike. There is a very clear spike in respiratory problems recorded during Holi, in eye infections, and they've also shown that how many of these are because of particulate matter 10 and particulate matter 2.5. So clearly the core smoke PM10 is a greater problem because of spraying of colors during Holi. And it is not just heavy metals, bioaerosols, and particulate matter, post-mort particulate matter 10 species that spike during Holi, but looking specifically into the chemical composition, then it is seen that chloride and sodium and even sulfate particles are a big problem. They are the major components. Uh, they are the major components found in the particulate matter species that are generated because of spraying of dry colors in the air during Holi. And this study is actually a very recent study done by Gupta and group in 2019. And there is, as I said, there is plethora of evidence on the potential health effects that Holi colors result into. So there's a number of skin diseases. Sometimes, there is no cure for certain diseases at all, which occur because of application of color on the skin. There is also permanent hair loss recorded because of use of Holi colors. There's rupturing of veins, which is shown in the picture with the hands, which is reported. And of course, there is irreparable damage resulting in permanent blindness also reported because of use of Holi colors, specifically, both dry and when mixed in water. So we need to be very careful. And of course, I mean, it is not just the humans that suffer from all these harmful effects and the toxicity that is present in the Holi chemicals, but uh, putting Holi chemicals on pets, on stray dogs, on stray cats can be very harmful. It can be very dangerous for them. So from skin allergies and hair loss reported in pets to blindness, respiratory disorders, the animals can suffer from all of these things, and it is often very, very difficult to find a cure of such diseases which are induced because of use of these synthetic chemicals. Because as a human being, we can explain what our pain is, but for animals, it gets very difficult. So, and finally, there is also evidence on these colors being very detrimental for plant growth. So what one study did was they used normal water and then they sort of used contaminated water in different concentrations of plant dye. And the higher the concentration of the synthetic dye, it was seen that the lower is the plant growth, which is something I've shown in this picture. And this was a study done by a German group, Gardner et al., in 2012. So, of course, plant growth uh, measured in terms of percentage of seed germination, root length, shoot length, everything shows a decrease with increasing concentrations of plant dyes of synthetic colors mixed in water in which the plants grow. So plant growth is severely diminished with contamination of water with synthetic dyes. And there is evidence on reduction in photochemical potential of plants as well. So one is there that the growth of plants decreases as the concentration of the dyes in water in which the plants grow increases. And secondly, plant growth is also affected if there is color present on the foliar surface or on the leaf surface. So what happens is when there is a layer of color present on the leaf surface, then the incoming solar radiation that reaches the plants for photosynthesis is reduced, and their photochemical potential eventually is reduced, which affects their growth. So with that in mind, it is time that we learn to make Holi colors on our own and move away completely from using synthetic colors. So here I've put a simple recipe that I found in a newspaper article, which would sort of, encourage you all to try one of these methods to make colors on your own. So for making red colors, you could use the hibiscus flower or the China rose. You simply dry it and blend it into a powder, and it can be very, harmlessly applied on the skin. And even the dry rose petals, once they dry, they can be powdered and used as color. and it will all be very safe for children and everybody else to use sandal powder, or the red color that you make, the dry red color that you make from hibiscus flowers or rose petals. And if you want to make a water soluble color, then you could just simply use some sandalwood powder and make it into a paste with water. Or you could use some limestone powder or tuna and mix it with turmeric powder, and you will get a very nice herbal, organic, natural holy color. So it is high time that we move away from using synthetic colors, now that we know harmful is potentially health, extreme levels of air and water to be formed, and to push for the right actions by
Hello, yeah, Son sir.
I
Okay.
think there was some problem in my network, or
Yeah.
Yes,
Now.
ma'am. Now it's okay. Now it's okay.
all right. So any which way, I was on my concluding slide, so I'll put that and can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I think my network is getting very unstable. Yeah, I'll just sorry. Yeah, so I was just about to conclude, and so as I was saying that it is extremely important to be aware of the harmful effects of playing Holi with synthetic colors in the present times, because this is the time when we really need to be very careful about our health, as we are passing through a very difficult phase. COVID-19 is still not over, and by all means, we should be following COVID appropriate behavior. So, one of the steps in COVID appropriate behavior is to maintain proper social distancing. And this would eventually mean that we stay away from community celebration of Holi. And we should use only natural colors. We don't want to fall sick at a time when the patient load in the hospital is already very high because of COVID. We should completely say no to synthetic colors, and we should find other ways of keeping up with the spirit of Holi. And it is extremely important and crucial to stay safe and healthy and informed. Yeah, so with that, wish you all a very happy Holi.
Thank you, Disha, ma'am. Thank you for your presentation. I think you have a very deep subject knowledge and it has inspired us a lot. Now I request students, if you have any question, you can please ask.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, dear.
Ma'am, actually, I want to ask that how can we as a students or humans can aware others to not throw colors on animals like dogs, like cows, because it hurts them and there are the many effects we do. So that's why I want to ask how can we aware them?
How can you make others aware of the potential harmful effects that spraying holy colors on animals have? That's what you're asking? Well, the
Yes,
first, yeah. So can you please tell me your name, because I can't really
ma'am.
see who's talking. Yeah.
Nandita Gupta.
Thank you so very much, Nandita, first of all, for your question. It is a very important question. And so So my suggestion to you would be, to spread awareness, it is very important to be aware yourself. So first of all, you need to understand in its, entirely and in totality as to what are the harmful effects of anything that you want to spread awareness for. And once you yourself know the concepts, once you yourself know that, something that's really concerning should be sort of communicated to others, will your communication be effective? So now I've just given you a glimpse of what are the potential harmful effects. But if you really care for animals, and if you really want others to know that, it is extremely important not to spread, not to spray, not to put colors on animals, I think it is important that you go and you read some text available on, how difficult it is for animals to sort of bear the harmful effects of colors on their body. And once you will know, then you will become an effective communicator, and whatever you tell others will be taken more seriously. So read, be informed, be aware yourself, and that is the only way to ensure that you become an effective communicator. And just talk to as many people you can. These days there are just so very many platforms, there are so very many sort of social media options available to spread a message you want to. So use all the social media platforms, use all the domains that are available to you, talk to your friends, use WhatsApp, use Twitter, and just get started. I think yeah. So good luck with whatever you're planning to do. Thank you,
Yes.
Nandita. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Just actually, my voice is getting echo, I guess.
Ma'am, meanwhile, I would like to ask, Mother, it's very difficult how to keep a balance between this festival and environment. It's very difficult how to stop our kids not to play Holi, which they feel playing it through their heart. So it's very difficult. I find it very difficult to stop kids and say not to play Holi. So what you feel that we can do something more so that we should play Holi to some extent and not to pollute our environment? Do you think that there should be some way out for this?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Bhatnagar. This is again a very important and interesting question. So it's very difficult, as you very rightly said, to sort of, tell our kids especially to refrain from playing Holi the way it is usually played. So one of the ways of sort of ensuring that, Holi celebration is more eco-friendly could be to introduce ways of, making the celebration eco-friendly. So if we ourselves will sort of move away from using synthetic colors, and would sort of play Holi at home with flowers or with natural colors, or would engage our children in the process of making natural colors, I think that could act as a motivating factor for children, and could encourage them to adopt a new style of playing Holi, which is more eco-friendly. But if we'll just, so I think it's very important, because children can only be made aware through our actions. It's not like we can educate them on what are the chemicals and what are their harmful effects. No, I think it is only through our actions that we can actually bring about a change in their style and in their sort of idea of community celebration of Holi. So it's important that we start taking small steps, which would eventually encourage our children to realize the importance of playing Holi in a sustainable, eco-friendly, environment-friendly way. So yeah, I think yeah, I would have done that,
Sure,
or
ma'am.
rather, I would do that. Yeah.
Ma'am, one message you want to give to our students. You have seen you have a lot of experience. You have seen the world. You have the experience of working with many organizations, many universities. So, what you feel what message we can give to our students so that they can be friend to an environment? What message
I,
you feel?
And Dr. Disha, I would like to add one more thing, that can you connect this message to this COVID-19 time also, how we can play safe Holi during this COVID-19 fear time. So if you can give such message to our students, yeah, it would be great.
Right, right. So, it is our responsibility as academics, as researchers, to spread awareness about following COVID appropriate behavior in whichever way possible. So, even though I'm not a medical doctor by profession, but I'm a scientist, and I know that how important it is to sort of relate this festival of Holi with COVID time precautions that we are taking. So, COVID appropriate behavior requires to maintain social distancing. It requires to have face covering whenever outside of the house. It requires to properly sanitize your hands and properly wash your hands regularly. So, when you talk of COVID appropriate behavior, that in itself means that we do not play Holi with others at all. Because how do we play Holi? We play Holi by putting colors on others, by, making them eat sweets at our home, etc. And all of this is against COVID appropriate behavior. So it becomes very, very important to understand that we cannot really afford to play Holi the way we've been playing Holi all these years, because this is not the time to do that. If we play Holi, you know, uh, in the traditional way, it would make us more vulnerable to catch the infection, because it's, as we know, that most of the people carry the COVID virus and are asymptomatic. So it is very difficult to tell who has the virus and who doesn't. And so it would be in our best interest to avoid any physical contact, to avoid playing Holi the way we've been playing Holi all these years, and to just stay safe. I mean, we could also try something new this year, which could be playing Holi virtually. We could just connect with our folks and friends over internet, and do a little celebration online. So I think it's time that we sort of think of other ways, that we improvise and move away for the safety of our own self, and also for the safety of others, and follow all the precautions that are required for COVID. So I guess, Shivesh, uh, that is
Yeah, yeah.
something that I would
Thanks.
want to
No,
suggest.
no. Okay, okay. No.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot, Dr. Disha. Thanks a lot.
thank you for your
For
question.
speaking to the students of SPM College, and I would like to add one more thing, that as we all are from the environmental science background, there are two more faculties of environmental sciences from our college. Okay,
Mhm.
and one is Dr. Nazia, and another is Dr. Sanyogita. They two are from JNU. Okay,
Mhm.
so yeah,
Yeah,
and
hello to
thanks.
both of them. Yeah, thank you for joining. Thank you for listening to me today,
Disha,
Nazia and
thank you
Dr.
for the
Sanyukta.
talk.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. And I, so as for Dr. Bhatnagar's question, Dr.
Yes,
Bhatnagar,
yes, ma'am, that is a good idea I got from you to play virtual Holi. I think that will help us a lot. That will also keep our emotions and will also be there taking consideration about the COVID. I think both will be good if we try to play virtual Holi. That will be a good idea for us. Ma'am, two takeaway message for our students. I can say that one is awareness and second can be the self motivation. I think these two will help them a lot. um, Ma'am, if you permit, then I would like to give vote of thanks at the end. I would like to thank our principal, ma'am, Dr. Sadhna Sharma, and IQSC committee for permitting us for this webinar. Dr. Sivesh Berwal for connecting us with Dr. Disha, and my EVS department faculty member, Dr. Nazi and Dr. Sanyogita. Our students who are very well connected with us through on Zoom and also live on YouTube. Ms. Nandita Gupta, student coordinator, for connecting us with the students, Mr. Sarabjit sir and Mr. Johnny for helping us and supporting us on Zoom and YouTube. And above all, I thank Disha ma'am for sparing your valuable time and sharing your knowledge with our students. I think your deep knowledge and experience will be a asset to us, and we would like to connect with you in future also. So thank you very much, ma'am, for connecting to us and sharing your valuable experience to us. Thank you very much, ma'am.
thank you so much. The pleasure is mine. I thoroughly enjoyed speaking on this very important topic. And yeah, thank you all again. I would
Thank you,
love
ma'am.
to.
Thank
I
you.
would love to come back again and speak on some other topic or engage in any other way possible.
Definitely, ma'am.
And
I would say this is one of its own kind of webinar. In my lifetime, I have not heard any speaker giving such specific description about the effect of Holi on humans and environment. So I think it is a new experience for me also. It is a different kind of a webinar, and I thank you for this, for sharing your knowledge, and Sivesh also for connecting to you also. So that is a good thing, ma'am. It's a very different kind of webinar that I've attended. That's my personal experience. So thank you for it, ma'am. So, okay, ma'am, if you permit, then we will end this webinar. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for joining us. Okay, okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank
yeah,
you.
thank you all. Bye bye. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
Happy Holi. Happy Holi.
Same to
Yeah,
you.
happy
Same to you,
Holi.
Yeah.
ma'am. Same to you.
Happy
Happy
Holi
Holi
to
to
everyone,
everyone.
to every students also. Happy Holi to
Yeah.
each of one also. Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Dr.
Stay
Desha. Thank
safe.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. Bye
Yeah.
bye.
thank you.
Okay, okay.
Okay, ma'am. Bye. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.